Hello everyone, this is Al here today with a Pokemon TCG update video on our next set, our special set coming out, because on Friday, Japan gets the release of their black and white card set. We will get it soon as well, but now we can look at actually all the cards, and you might have already seen some of these cards or translations, but I have yet to go through all of them and really go through them. So that's what this video is going to be. We can look at all of them. So if we go ahead and go to Black Bolt and White Flair on Pokemonproxies.com, I will have linked in the description. Here's kind of the cards that you can use as proxy cards before we actually see the English release and stuff, and this is a good idea of what's coming. So we're going to go through the list. Worst was Snivy, 70 HP, and then going into Servine. Can I not use arrows? I have to click. So Servine at 100 HP, it's got Wrap, that's 60. Here is Superior EX. Royal Cheer is the ability. We're at 320 HP, which is big. Attacks used by your Pokemon do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. 20 damage is not that much, and onto Grass Order, it's gonna be 170, and that's okay. I'm not thrilled, and it's 4 energy. That's so much, and this is a grass Pokemon. But you get to search your deck for up to 3 cards and put them into your hand. I don't know about this one, but we're gonna see. Here is an adorable Pansage, 70 HP, Simisage, 100. Petalil here with the attack hide, it's got 60 HP. This has Bemusing Aura. Flip a coin if head your active Pokemon is now paralyzed and poisoned. Dang. If tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Alright. Simple. Maractus here at 100 HP. We just got another Maractus who has a nice ability that's competitive. A little bit. He traps things. I like the memes, but if this Pokemon was healed during this turn, this attack does 100 more damage. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of heal stuff and heal deck focused things in the TCG, and it kind of gets pushed aside. The only thing I can remember is like a Leafeon. Anyway, Carablast here at 60 HP with exciting evolution. If you have any Shelmet in play, this Pokemon can evolve during the first turn or during the turn it was played. So that's bending the rules. You know, if you play it down the first turn, when it's played. Going around that, I wonder if the Shelmet and the evolution will be worth it. I don't know. Fungus here has Poison Spore that just poisons, but then we have Dangerous Reaction. If your opponent's active Pokemon is affected by a special condition, it does 120 more damage. So we're hitting for 150, 1 energy if it has this. Okay, gotcha. Okay. And you can't, like, put a special condition through Among Us. You could use a different way, but that's cool. Victini here with a V-Force, 2 fire energy. If you have less than 5 bench Pokemon, this attack does nothing. So 120, 2 fire energy. But you do have to have like a full bench. And if you have a full bench, you kind of can't quite search for this guy at the right second, maybe, but you have to like plan. I don't know. This one is interesting though. I'm very curious about V-Force. We'll see how this does. This intrigues me a little. Victini. All right, we got Will-O-Wisp on Darumaka, and then this guy's running. Searing Flame. Flip a coin if head your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned, and then Smashing Headbutt. You discard 2 energy. Gotcha, does 180. Again, big energy cost there. Litwick here has Light and Burn. I love this candle artwork. Look at the top card of your deck. You may discard that card. Fire Blast, discard an energy from this Pokemon. We're discarding a lot. What do? If you have at least 10 basic fire energy in your discard, this attack does 100 more damage. Dude, I don't know any decks that even 10 is a huge number of energy to run in a deck. I don't think this is going. Burn it all up. Please keep that name for English. Discard all energy. Okay. Chandelure. Peck Off. Where's its beak? Before doing damage, discard all tools from your opponent's active Pokemon. Yeah, we're gonna have to see about the tools stuff. Okay, this guy, I like the art kind of thing. It's very vibrant. Scorching Scales. Once during your turn, you may discard a basic fire energy card from your hand in order to leave your opponent's active Pokemon burned. Interesting thing here. If we need that, I don't think we have a reason too much to do yet. I'm thinking Panpour here is looking really happy. Simipour, simple. Round. Yes, round as like an attack and stuff. For a sec, I was thinking just, yeah, he's round. It does 20 damage for each of your Pokemon in play that has the round attack. Oh boy. It costs 2 energy to do this? Okay. Round. His attack does 40. That has, this is making sense. Round. Okay, I kind of am like this is a meme. It's all to okay, 3. It does 70 damage for each of your Pokemon in play that's around. Um I like this. Now, Tertuga. Tertuga is one I have seen some talk about. It's got 100 HP. It evolves from a fossil. For 1 water energy, it does Ancient Debris. This attack does 30 damage for each item card in your opponent's discard pile. So sometimes, we have a lot of stuff with items right now, with item lock happening, with different things like that. We're gonna have to see how this shakes out, I think. Sounds interesting. We're gonna have to see, I guess. I've seen some people get a little worried, but yeah, this is one to look out for. But Caracosta probably not as much, but he does have the ability Mighty Shell. Prevent all damage and effects done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have any special energy attached to them. So I do wonder with this one if we are gonna have special energy Pokemon like utilized in the future, maybe so. If the meta calls for it, perhaps it could come into play, but we're gonna have to see on that. Now, Alola is another one I've seen talk about for 110 HP. Surprise. So remember that this is a basic. Remember the meme, yeah, that, it does not evolve from Love Disc. It is a basic Pokemon, and it has this ability, Gentle Fins. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in the active spot, you may put a basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less from the discard pile onto your bench. I guess it's using its Gentle Fins to slowly reach in the discard and then gently place them onto your bench, which sounds it's very intriguing. I like the sound of it, kind of thing. You can use this to maybe put the hoots in there. Maybe put a hoot down, maybe put a Duskull down, do you think? I'm thinking it could be something like that. This we'll have to see on, because like I said, it's one thing if it's a stage 1, but this is a basic and it's interesting. Maybe we'll see that thing. Cubchu, snot covered. I guess he is covered in snot, and you can't escape. Continuous headbutt on this guy. Flip a coin until you get tails. The attack does 50 damage for each heads. More coin flipping. Man, I'm not a big coin flip lover, but sheer cold here. 150 during your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon can't attack. I guess they're covered in like snot because of the Cubchu. Cryogonal Dragoff. I love this name. Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. This attack does 20 to the new active. Now, 20's not like a ton of damage, but who knows? Maybe if you have strategically left one at 20 and you can drag it up with this, since boss is kind of rotating, most likely, then this is a way to get gusting and just kind of force. But we'll have to see. Calio EX at 230 HP here. So slash and then Blizzard Burst for a water colorless, 130 damage. This attack does 10 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon for each prize your opponent has taken. .t. Like I said, this is just before the official release, but this is interesting. This is I kind of like this. You're gonna have to get your Shaman out to protect the bench. Rabska. There's a lot of stuff coming that's really attacking the bench and stuff, and so this is another example. But 10 damage to for each prize card. Like if you throw this thing down. And 3 isn't, maybe Chi and Pao. 3 isn't that hard to hit for things like Chi and Pao. Like, if they don't have their bench protected, maybe Kyurem could come into that. Guys, I love Chi and Pao. I want to see it work more. We're going to see more about Air Balloon in this. But, I did a video on that recently. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. Emolga here is very cute, 70 HP, call for families, search your deck for up to 2 basic, put them onto the bench. Sometimes that's relevant, but it also has free retreat, that's relevant sometimes. This one also has free retreat. Hold still! What is this? Please keep this name for the official. It's got 40 HP, and this art's phenomenal. I love this. Heal 10 damage from this Pokemon. Hold still. Please keep that. All right, Electric is also one I've seen some talk about because we've actually seen this before with Dynamotor. Once during your turn, you may attach a lightning energy from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. So this is great. I think this could be really good in, of course, like Miraidon and other decks upcoming, especially with Zekrom 2 coming, electric stuff. Electros at 160 HP, Thunderfang, flipping coins, then Buzz Flip. Yeah, if we get heads, it does 60 and they're paralyzed. Buzz Flip does 100. Lightning, colorless. Flip 4 coins. So many coins. Does 100 for each heads. Crazy amount of energy. But yeah, that's Electros. Thunder is here at 120 HP. We have Charge. Search your deck for a basic lightning energy and attach it to this Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. Disaster Volt here. So it's one lightning that covers this, discard, and then two colorless. Discard an energy, so it does 110. Okay. Here's Zekrom EX, 230. So we have Slash, and then we have Voltage Burst, 130 plus. This attack does 50 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. This Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. So, alright, although it does 30, we do have, I don't know, it kind of ramps. It could be coming in later on, late in the game, with the attack. And like I said, if it's in like Miraida or something, like there's ways to power this thing up, for sure. So that's one to look at. Mana, this is cute art. 70 HP, Rest, and then we have Musharna. Dream Call, search your deck for any number of Fennel, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. We don't always get Pokemon that can search out supporters, like specific ones, so that's kind of interesting. Sleep Pulse, flipping a coin. If your opponent's active Pokemon's now asleep. Solos is here, is little. He has Cell Evolution. Here's Duosion. We have Cell Evolution. This guy is at 70 HP. This is at 40. Search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it, then shuffle your deck. So this doesn't even say, like, search your deck for an evolution Pokemon that evolves from this Duosion. It's for your other Pokemon too, it looks like. And then we have Renewlicus. Man, this name's a hard one for me. Renewlicus. Oh my gosh. Can I not say that? Anyway, I'm gonna stop there. HP 140. Cellular Awakening. For each of your bench Pokemon, search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it, then shuffle your deck. This is for one energy. This is, I mean, I know it's a stage 2 Pokemon that you have to, like, get out and get set up, but this is very intriguing as well. I'm kind of very intrigued. Evil Lariat. This attack does 40 more damage for each of your evolution Pokemon in play. So not only are we doing Cellular Awakening potentially for an attack, but I mean, honestly, if we use that as the attack, and then Reniculus might be knocked out, but Evil Lariat, I can see the combo. That's interesting. LGM has Slight Shift. Move an energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon to another. Alright. Little disruption. Then we got Behe. Where is he? It's a stunning spot. He's got Calm Mind, Healing, and then Psychic does 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active. So watch out. He's got his Psychic attack that could hit. So Best Punch, I like that name. Golett here, 90 HP. He's flipping coins. Huge retreat cost for these giant Pokemon. Heavy guys, and Golurk, once again, huge, but that makes sense. Double Smash, flip 2 coins. This attack does 80 damage for each heads. Look at the attack cost on this Golurk hammer. We have 2 Psychic and 3 colorless. That's wild, but it does 200. Okay, Meloetta EX is here now. So Meloetta EX has 200 HP, and it has the ability Life Premiere. Sounds very cool. She is like an idol. So this Pokemon can attack on your first turn going first. Deadly Meloetta. No, I don't know. Let's see. Echoed Voice does 30, but then during your next turn, this Pokemon's Echoed Voice does 80 more damage. So once again, mimicking in the card game, kind of what they do in-game with Echoed Voice. That makes sense, but yeah, I don't know if you're going to be doing the next turn 80, that could be relevant, but the attack on your first turn going first, with Echoed Voice, hitting for 30, for 1 Psychic Energy, I mean, that knocks out a Badoo, that could knock out a Joltik, that could knock out a few tiny Pokemon that we might be seeing, other baby Pokemon like, Cleffa, depending on the meta. So it is something. It can also just hit for 30. I think the attack going first, we could see. This is a really frail EX, though, at 200 HP, so we're gonna have to see how this goes, but that's really intriguing. Drillbur here, he's pretty cute in his hole. He's got 70 HP. Excadrill EX is what he evolves into. 270 HP on a fighting type. Piercing Drill. This attack does 60 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that already has any damage counters on it. So like I said, if you don't have your bench protection, might get slammed with that, especially if you got damage counters. And I think you could pair this with, like, could you do like Ting-Lu? Like the one where I think he does Earthquake, or there's might be another Earthquake move that puts damage counters on everything. Kyurem does, but I don't know if you're going to be pairing that anyway. Rock Crash for 200. Gotcha. Timber here, he's got wood, he's got iron, hammer arm, discard the top of your opponent's deck. Craftsmanship. Okay, here's Conkeldurr, 140. This Pokemon gets plus 40 HP for each fighting energy attached to it. Alright, alright. Swing around, huge for a fighting colorless, 100 plus. Flip 2 coins. This attack does 50 more damage for each heads. Okay. The craftsmanship, if there's a way to like really accelerate energy, maybe this could be, but we'll see. All right, throw. Interesting art. Is his like legs here look like onigiri? Anyway, shoulder throw, 120 minus. We don't normally see this minus on cards, honestly. This attack does 30 less damage for each energy in your opponent's active's retreat cost. For each in your opponent's active's retreat cost. So if it's a huge Pokemon, no. We gotta do a little. But yeah, that's like the first one I've seen in a bit. That's interesting. But alright, yeah, keep it in mind for throw. Dwebble, he has cute art here. Flail, it does 10 damage for each damage counter on it. And then we have Crustle, awesome art still. Sturdy, if this Pokemon has full HP and would be knocked out by damage from an attack, it's not knocked out and its remaining HP becomes 10. So just like our little Pikachu EX was sturdy. Stone Edge, flip a coin. If heads, this does 60 more damage. Okay. Landorus, Abundant Harvest, attach a basic energy from your discard to this Pokemon. Oh, here's an Earthquake. This also does 10 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. Okay, so this Landorus, single prize basic Landorus, if you want to make Excadrill work, who knows, maybe. Am I thinking correctly? That's like, yeah, this would be, I don't know, we'll have to cook some, there's other options, but yeah, just keeping things in mind. So that's cool. Venipede here, good art. Poison Spray, your active is now poisoned. He's got 80 HP. Look at the retreat cost on this Venipede, huge. My goodness. Venoshock, again, awesome art. Wow. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, this does 60 more damage. So, alright, we got Poison Package going on. 160 HP, awesome art. Poison Point. If this Pokemon's in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, the attacking Pokemon is now poisoned. I like that. Once again, just Poison Point straight from the game into the cards here. With a Venoshock, we can do 90 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, the attack does 90 more damage. Alright, yeah, we can see the pattern here. Really cool. I think this is something to keep in mind if you're running some sort of poison package in the future, maybe. This guy also has a huge retreat cost, but understandable. He's huge, but he is a single prize Pokemon. Stuff to consider. Keep it in mind. I like this art too. It's like he's swimming in cola, but it's sand. Alright, tighten up. Your opponent discards a card from their hand. Alright. And then Krokorok, tighten up. They discard 2. Oh, okay. Tighten up. 2 more. Okay. And then this art's cool. It's got like a Van Gogh sort of thing. Cursed Slug, 120 plus. If your opponent has 3 or fewer cards in their hand, this attack does 120 more damage. All right. So if you can get a way to have guaranteed, maybe that's better. But once again, these are high cost for this stuff. Vullaby has 70 HP. Playful little kick. 110 on Mandibuzz. Hunt for Prey. I like that wording. Once during your turn, you may have your opponent reveal their hand, choose a basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less you find there, and put it onto their bench. Alright. It would be funny if you could just, like, discard it right away. Who knows? Just, like, that's his prey, he gets it, he eats it. It's gone. But no, I understand that. That's pretty fun. That's kind of something, I would say, maybe, keep in mind. Escavalier, so remember, this is, like, for our guys that let you evolve quick. Is it worth it? I don't know about that. We have it doing 30 damage to itself and it does 90, but alright. Pawniard here has 60 HP, and Corner, during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. Bisharp here has 120 HP. Finishing Blow, if your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this does 60 more damage. So once again, taking in effect the damage counters. Cobalion, 120 HP. Holy Edge, discard 1 special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So once again, I think this could be something to remember if there is special energy in the format being utilized a lot. That is something to keep in mind on this basic Pokemon. Metal Arms, 80 plus. If this Pokemon has a tool attached, the attack does 40 more damage. Interesting stuff going on right here. Maybe this could be a tech or something, I don't know, but we'll see. Keeping it in mind. Genacc EX, 220 HP. Metal Signal, once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 Metal Evolution Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Interesting stuff. Alright, that could be really handy, depending, but Protect Charge does 150 during your opponent's next turn, it takes 30 less from attacks. Alright, you know, Protect Charge isn't that phenomenal, but really I think the the good thing is that Metal Signal ability on this little basic Pokemon. Like I said, 220 HP is kind of small, so he is, in a sense, could be a liability depending, but like if we have a meta where you're really needing to find those and this comes into play, I can see it, but we'll have to see how this goes. This is interesting. We do have some metal Pokemon coming, like with Metagross, like Steven has metal guys, but we're gonna have to see more, so that'll be interesting. Axew, I love the like red color here, the accent, but it has Gather Strength. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, put them in your hand, shuffle your deck, and then it evolves into Fracture. Ooh, yeah, look at that, these colors, awesome. Boundless Power for a fighting energy and a metal energy, 90. During the next turn, they can't attack. And then we have Haxorus, 170 HP, Dragon Pokemon, Crosscut. If your opponent's active as an evolution Pokemon, this attack does 80 more damage. So that is potentially hitting for 160. And then Axe Bomber. It's got fighting, metal, and colorless. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, it is knocked out. Ooh, I kind of like this. That's interesting. This is, I guess that's why we have such a unique attack cost going on here as well. That's gonna be interesting. I kind of like that. Bring this guy out. He is a stage 2, but that's something. I'm kind of intrigued. Pidove here is a basic at 60 HP, who evolves into Tranquil at 80 HP, and then you can flip more coins, and then it goes into Pheasant at 150 HP. Add-on, draw 4 cards. That's kind of cool. It is on a stage 2, but yeah, that's interesting. I mean, drawing 4 cards is nice. Anyway, High Speed Flight, 120. Flip a coin. If heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage and effects done to this Pokemon. Okay. Whoa, we passed Audino. Audino at 100 HP, it's got return. You may draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. Alright, alright. It's great when it's an ability, but if it's an attack, it's not always as good. But then we have Minccino. This art is one of the best. I love this. But it does Tail Slap, of course, flip 2 coins. It does 20 for each heads. And then Cinccino, do the wave. This attack does 20 for each of your bench Pokemon. So, little cute guy hitting for a little bit. That could be something, but I don't know. I love him. I love him already anyway. But yeah, that's cute. Alright, now we can get into some of the item cards. Now, Energy Coin here is one. Flip 2 coins. Ugh, love flipping coins. If both of them are heads, search your deck for 1 basic energy card and attach it to one of your Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. So this could be a potential extra energy attachment, but if both are head, like obviously this is not a very good playable card. It's all up to a coin flip, and it's just 1 energy when you could be doing so much more with other cards and stuff, and so on. But it is a cool art, very funny. We'll see it. We'll see. AntiCover Fossil, here for our Tertuga. Play this card as if it were a 60 HP basic colorless Pokemon. This card can't be affected by any special conditions and can't retreat. At any time during your turn, you may discard this card from play. Protective Cover is the ability. Prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. Alright, interesting stuff. We can get that to get our turtle out. We haven't had fossils in a bit. I think the Pokemon set 151 had fossils or whatever, but like they weren't really used. And so we're gonna have to see. The Tertuga could be relevant, so we might see some fossil. Then we have Pokegear reprinted. We have Air Balloon coming back. So the retreat cost of the Pokemon this card's attached to is 2 colorless less. Now, I am super hyped for this because I have seen it as a potential helper revival of Chi and Pow. We were talking about Chi and Pow earlier, but we're talking again. I really want to see that. I think it could help because I think for some Pokemon, like at least some decks, if you can just like take away some of those huge retreat costs on some of their Pokemon, that would be awesome. But that is something to watch out for. Very cool. End's Plot is our supporter. Move up to 2 energy from your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. Okay, gotcha. Maybe this could be. We'll have to see on this. I'm not immediately thinking of stuff, but there might be stuff where this is quite relevant. We'll see. End's Plot. Professor's research getting reprinted, but it will still rotate soon. But it is here. Fennel here, heal 40 from each of your Pokemon. Now, like I said, we don't have tons of heal options in the format right now, like strategic options that's competitively viable, but we might be seeing that. We might be seeing that with like cards like Picnic Basket or even being used just to heal a little bit of damage. So we might actually be moving into a spot where damage is and healing can change games. We're gonna have to see with how that goes, but who knows? Maybe we will lead into that era where healing is actually really relevant, and so this could maybe be helpful because it does do it from each of your Pokemon, and that might be something. Then we have Prism Energy. It provides colorless energy. If the Pokemon, though, this card's attached to is a basic, it provides every type of energy, but only one at a time. So simple enough, just remember to use it with your basics. You can, of course, use it elsewhere, but then it will just be colorless. But that's cool. All right. We have Swaddle here. I guess we're going into the next set thing. Then Swaddloon at 80. Leaf Heal. Once during your turn, you may heal 20 damage from your active. All right. And then Leavanny. Very good art all throughout. Healing Swaddle. Heal 100 from each of your basic Pokemon. See, this isn't just the healing. The healing. X Scissor does 90 plus. Oh, flip a coin. If heads, it does 40 more. All right. Cottony here at 60 HP, and then, Whimsicott EX, it goes into 230 HP on this grass Pokemon. So this is, both attacks are 1 grass energy. So Energy Gift, search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them, not attack them, attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. Alright, this is something. Is it? We'll see. I mean, like, is it? We'll see. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know what we're doing with the grass deck right now, but who knows? That could be something. But I don't know. Wonder Cotton does 50x. Your opponent reveals their hand, and it does 50 for each trainer card you find there. Okay. Is that going to be relevant? We'll see. Probably, maybe not. Maybe not. Woo, this art's fantastic. I like this movement and everything. 70 HP on this Deerling that evolves into Sawbuck at 130 HP. Rear Kick. You may switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench, but the opponent gets to choose the new active. Alright, like I said, boss is gonna most likely, just rotate out, and so our gusting options and switching around might be limited a little bit, and that's another effect, but I also like the effect because it really fits with Rear Kick. That's quite funny. But it does only do 50 as well. We'll see, but it's just a fun little thing. Oh, here's the other guy, Exciting Evolution. If you have any Carablast in play, this Pokemon can evolve during the first turn or the turn it was played. And then Headbutt Bounce. Alright, during the next turn it can't attack. Huge retreat cost again. Man. Acid Spray. Flip a coin if heads, discard an energy from your opponent's active. Okay. Why is this guy huge compared to I think that's anyway. Virizion here. Giga Drain. Heal from this Pokemon the same amount of damage you did to your opponent's active Pokemon. Interesting. Giga Drain. Emerald Blade 130, and then during the next turn it can't attack. Okay. Tepig here, and then we have Pignite, and then we have Embor. Wow, yeah, huge. Inferno Fandango. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a fire energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. And then he can do, for 4 energy, he crash 120. Alright, yeah, so with Inferno Fandango, that kind of makes, as well, some of the stuff a lot more enticing, because you can just go crazy with it. And a lot of these cards are kind of like things that we've seen in the game before, but are coming back. And I think this is one. It's going to be really interesting to see. I am kind of excited for the idea of, the fire type just going ham with the fire energy attaching everywhere. We're going to see. I'm going to be excited, I think. Panseer here, and then Simus here. We got basic stuff. Tongue Catch. Search your deck for up to 3 enemy. Combination of fire Pokemon and basic fire energy cards. Reveal them, put them in your hand, shuffle your deck. I mean, for a basic Pokemon, keep more one, maybe that could be relevant at some point. I mean, 3 energy is a lot in combo of Pokemon and energy. That's interesting, something to keep in mind. Reshiram EX 230 HP Blaze Burst here, 130 plus. The attack does 50 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. Discard an energy from this Pokemon. Alright, interesting stuff. It's pretty much similar to Zekrom, but yeah, that's cool. And then we got Oshawott Duat Energy Shell. It does 30 damage for each energy attached to it. Interesting, interesting. And then we got Samurro, Strong Currents. Once during your turn, you may switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, your opponent switches their active with one of their benched. So I like that. I like that. Also interesting that we also have Energy Slash as well still. So it does 50 more damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. Ooh. My Chien-Pao brain is going straight to Chien-Pao, okay? That is somewhere we can greatly or Baxcalibur, because Baxcalibur can attach energy, but this does say each energy. It doesn't have to be water energy, it can be each energy, and it doesn't even have to be basic, it can be special, but most likely it's going to be basic water, but just depends on what you're doing. Ooh, I'll keep this guy in the back of my mind. I'm actually excited for that. Bared Fangs. So this is masculine. If your opponent's active has no damage counters on it before this does damage, the attack does nothing. Alright, he's gotta get some damage on there already. Firefighting. Discard a fire energy from your opponent's active. That's pretty funny. Nice. Swanna here. Air Slash. We got basic stuff, you know. Vanillite, Ice Edge, Flipping Coin, Vanillish. Oh, they're like ice skating. 150 HP, double freeze, 90x, flip 2 coins. This attack does 90 for each heads. If either of them is heads, your opponent's Pokemon is now paralyzed. Alright. Ooh, Calio EX. Alright, 210 HP, water Pokemon, Gale Thrust. If this Pokemon moved from the bench to the active spot this turn, the attack does 90 more damage. Alright, get him in there. Quite the thrust. Sonic Edge, 120 for 3 energy. The attack's damage isn't affected by any effects of your opponent's active Pokemon. So, alright, interesting. Keldeo, at first glance, I'm like, okay, sure, seems fine, but I'm not thrilled. But maybe we'll see stuff. Alright, I like this art a lot, too. We got a cute guy, got Zebstrika. Wow, the storm's coming in. Electro Bullet, he's got a gun? Alright, 100. This attack also does 30 damage to one of your Pokemon, your opponent's bench Pokemon. So once again, if they don't have Shaman or Rabscott, like any protection, capitalizing on it. But we'll see. Ooh, that's so, yeah, I think we saw this artwork already, but so cute, so good. I can't wait. This one has 40 HP instead of 30. Surprise attack, flip a coin. If tails, it does nothing. Galvantula Discharge. Discard all lightning energy from this Pokemon. This does 50 damage for each card you discard in this way. Ooh, once again, I'm kind of keeping this in the back of my head. I'm kind of clocking that in. Try and make it work sometime, maybe. Mudbolt. If this Pokemon has any fighting energy attached, it does 20 more damage. Look at this guy. Oh, does he have free? Oh, no, he's gonna do... We got Wubat. Heart Stamp, we got that. Interesting, cool, design. Happy returns. Shuffle one of your bench Pokemon and all attached cards into your deck. Just put it back. It's fine. Sigilyph. Reflect during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 40 less damage. And then Telekinesis for 3 energy, 1 Psychic, 2 Colorless. This attack does 70 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. It's not affected by weakness or resistance. Okay, and this one, again, does specify 70 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. It does not specify active Pokemon, so this can be used on the bench and stuff if there is no bench protection. So keep that in mind, and it is a basic Pokemon that can do that, so that is one card to keep in the back of your head. Focused Wish for 20 plus. Flip a coin. We're flipping coins. This whole set. What is this? Please keep this name as the official name. Elongating Demagrigus. I gotta find out what the Japanese name is. Oh my goodness. Move all damage counters from one of your bench Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. That could be interesting. I'm kinda intrigued. Perplex. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Alright. I'm kind of intrigued about elongating Damagrigus. What is that? Gothita, looking super Psybolt. All right, 70 HP here. Gotharita, Fortunate Eye. Look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck and put them back in any order. Okay. Just kind of take a look. All right, so here's Gothitelle, 150 HP. Ability is Twisted Future. Distorted Future. All right, once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in the active spot, you may have your opponent shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 3 cards. Once during your turn, if it's in the active. All right, interesting. I'll keep note of this ability. Synchro Shot does 90 plus. If you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, it does 90 more damage. So if this pairs really well with the ability, obviously, if you are able to get yourself down to 3 cards, and then you happen to have Gothitelle in the active, ready to go, use the ability, get them to 3 cards, and then you can do the 180 damage. Not sure how often you're going to pull that off, but I see it. Frillish, this artwork, he looks so sad. What happened? Alright, he's being pulled down by the Sea Shadows. 20 damage. During your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards from their hand. Oh, right, this is the Frillish, of course, that's... Oh, yeah, it's coming. Oh, Sea Curse Jellicent. Alright, so, now, yeah, more item lock doesn't sound fun, but we're gonna see how it plays out. So Jellicent EX, 270 HP, Sea Curse, it does have to be in the active. As long as this is in the active, your opponent can't play any item cards or attach any tools from their hand. Very annoying. The Sea Curse, my goodness. Power Press does 80 for 2 energy. If this Pokemon has at least 2 extra energy attached, in addition to this attack cost, it does 80 more damage. So this, I think, has been revealed a little bit a long way already, and so obviously people have been talking about this card a lot, and I've seen it too. It's gonna be interesting to see this thing in action. I think it's gonna be really good with Gardevoir, potentially, but we're gonna see how it shakes out, like I said. Rock'n'Rolla here, Harden, alright, little guy. We got Bulor. Is there anything massive with Gigalith? Revenge Cannon, doing 20 for each damage counter on your benched fighting. For each, I should say. It's not like we're doing Earthquake and doing it to ourselves. It's doing 20 for each damage counter on your bench Pokemon. Okay. Alright. And then Sock here. We got Rising Chop for 90. If your opponent's active Pokemon isn't an EX, it does nothing. Alright, so we just had to hit 90 on an EX. Not sure how effective that's going to be, but it is 1 energy. On a basic. Alright, here's this cute Arcan awesome art. He's got the fossil. Acrobatics, 30 plus. Flip a coin, it does 30 for each heads. Then we have Archeops, a sick art, and it's going to be interesting to see. So, 140 HP, ability is Primal Wings. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in the active spot, you may choose one of your opponent's evolved Pokemon and devolve it by putting the highest stage evolution card on it into your opponent's hand. Now, this stuff is always kind of interesting and very fun. So, it is something. Now, obviously, you might think, well, they're just gonna evolve it on their turn because it's in their hand. The obvious play for these things are mostly, I think, so that you can de-evolve them so that they're a lower HP and you can just, like, KO them and take care of them. And then they won't have... And then they're just kind of stuck with that dead card as well, I would say. I think that is the play with this sort of thing. And we're gonna see how it goes. I'm excited, but this will be interesting. Yeah, I think so. It's gonna be interesting to see Archeops out here. We got Mienfoo, he's cute. Mienshao, very cute as well. Look at the sunset, sunrise. Probably waking up early. Smashing. Whoa, Terrakion, I don't know about that. Retaliate, 50 plus. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this does 80 more damage. Alright, Revenge, Retaliate. Don't know if I'm gonna be playing that personally. Purloin! It's so evil invitation. She's not evil, look at that face. Evil Invitation. Search your deck for up to 3 dark Pokemon and reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Okay, gotcha. Is Liepard, like, cool? We got Knockoff. Discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Nothing special here. Ugh. That's okay, though. Next up, we've got Scraggy. I like this art a lot. I really like the big, bold outlines and stuff, but I like this. Scraggy has 70 HP, it's got some attacks. Then we continue with the same art. Rascal attack, flip a coin for each dark energy, or dark Pokemon in play. And then this does, that you have in play, I should specify. And then it does 60 for each heads. Okay, nothing too crazy, but really good art. I really love the art, even on these like basic cards. Drool, okay. But this one too, I mean, don't love the Pokemon, but the art's really awesome. Suffocating gas, and then gunk shot. Your opponent's active is now poisoned. It does 120. So this is just kind of the usual poison stuff. I think we were worried about the possibility of Garbodor getting really OP and stuff and too overpowered like it has been in the past, but I think we're good. Zorua here, takedown, and then we have Zoroark, Mind Jack, doing 30 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and then Foul Play, choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. This is kind of some Mew genome hacking stuff, and I like it because, again, Zoroark can, like, transform into other Pokemon, and so it makes sense that it might be able to do something like that. That's kind of fun. I like it. Don't know if it's going to be very relevant, but we'll see. This is an interesting one. He's kind of in the burrow. Dino here. Body Slam, alright. And then we have Double Hit for their 2 heads. It does 40 for each heads on the coin and on the Pokemon, let's say. And then Hydreigon EX, 330 HP here with Greedy Eater. If your opponent's basic Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this Pokemon's attack, take one more prize card for that knockout. Interesting. Greedy Eater. All right. If your opponent's basics knocked out by... Okay, this is going to be interesting, I think. Maybe. And holy cow, this energy. We have 3 dark energy, 2 colorless energy, 200. What is the effect? It can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. This is an insane amount of energy. But that's interesting. Okay. But I guess that makes sense for this ability. If it had like an easy attack to get off... I think, yeah, it would be a lot, this would be more dangerous, but seeing the amount of energy you have to get onto this thing to make it attack, it's kind of less worrying to see, Greedy Eater. But we'll see with this guy, that's always interesting. Pharaoh Seed here, Zeet, alright, I hope that stays. Power Whip, this attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy attached to this Pokemon. Gotcha. 20 damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. I wonder if this will become relevant. I don't know, but it's one to keep note of. Clink here, cute art. Hard gear. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 10 less damage. That makes sense. The steel type doing the same thing. Man, this is also wonderful art. Yeah, loving it. Gear coding. Each of your Pokemon with any metal attached takes 20 less damage from your Pokemon's attacks. So, makes sense. With that steel, you know, the metal is hardening up and it's taking less damage. And then hammer in 120. Alright, simple stuff. Durant here. I don't know many Durant lovers. My sister's a Durant lover, and look at this thing. We have Clay Durant. Bite together. If Durant's on your bench, this does 20 more damage. So, if you have multiple Durant, that's the way to make it feasible, but I don't know how good Durant's gonna be. Don't know if you're running it. Duradigan here. Dragon type, 120. Shred. It isn't affected by any effects. It does 40. And then Ambush, we have 3 different energy. Well, we have a fire, water, and then it can be colorless. So 90, it does, yeah, flipping coins. Okay. Patrat here. Procurement. Search your deck for an item card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Okay. And then Watchog, this is also really interesting art. Focus Energy, during your next turn, this Pokemon's Hyper Fang's base damage is 240. I don't think I've seen Focus Energy, like, in the TCG utilized like this, maybe before me, but that's interesting. So Hyper Fang does 80, and it's on a coin flip as well. So if Tails, it does nothing. My goodness, this is probably not getting used, but that's kind of funny. Play rough, flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 10 more damage. Herdier here has Roar, switching they're active with one of their bench Pokemon. I don't know why, but I think this set, like, this has a ton of actual Pokemon moves and, like, effects that are actually kind of what the moves do. Odor Sleuth, these are just moves. Yeah, I'm liking it. Flip 3 coins for each head. Put a card from your discard pile into your hand. That's interesting. I like this Sao art. Special Fang, 4 energy, 100 plus. If this has any special energy attached to it, this does 100 more damage. Okay, interesting. It's a huge attack cost, but keep it in mind, maybe. I don't know. Bouffalant EX here, 220 HP. Ability Boofer, I love that. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. Alright. Gold Breaker, 100 plus. If your opponent's active as an EX, this does 100 more damage. My goodness. So 200 to an EX. I mean, there are some EXs that could go down, but we'll see if this gets used. Rooflet, I like this art. That's cool. Awesome. And then we have Braviary, Aerial Ace. I think most of the cards, too, have been... The artist is handling their base and their evolution, and I really like that. Aerial Ace, flip a coin. If heads, it does 40 more damage. More coin flipping. Tornadoes, 120. Wrapped in Wind. Attach a basic energy from your hand to this Pokemon. And then Hurricane, move a basic energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. Alright. And then we have just staples. Tool Scrapper is coming back. It looks like choose up to 2 Pokemon tools attached to Pokemon, yours or your opponent's, and discard them. So once again, this is another item card that is targeting tools. So tool cards are getting targeted a little bit. But we have Antique Plume Fossil. Play it as if it was a 60 HP basic colorless Pokemon. This can't be affected by special conditions, can't retreat. At any time during your turn, you may discard it. Wing Protection, as long as this Pokemon's on your bench. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Alright, so that is interesting. We also have Brave Bangle as a new tool. The attacks of the Pokemon this card's attached to, excluding Pokemon with a rule box, deal 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon EX. So this is another way to hit EXs for more damage. Clown. This looks really fun. I mean, the art and the character, but let's read the effect of the card. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck, then flip a coin. Oh, man, I don't know about that. If heads, draw 5 cards, and your opponent draws 3. If tails, draw 3 cards, and your opponent draws 5. I don't love that, but I think it's funny for this character. Alright, Sharon has draw 3 cards. Hilda has search your deck for 1 evolution Pokemon and 1 energy card. Reveal them, put them into your hand. Then shuffle the deck. That's pretty decent. Ignition Energy. If this card's attached to one of your Pokemon, discard it at the end of the turn. And it provides colorless energy while attached to a Pokemon. But if it's attached to an evolution Pokemon, it provides 3 colorless instead. So really interesting. And like I said, discarding it at the end of the turn, though, will be interesting to kind of time when to put that into play and use it. That'll be interesting. Snivy. Servine. This is just, we went through all of them. Alright. We made it, guys. So that is all the new cards, it looks like, for now. And then soon we're going to have the full scans and release of all the cards. But this was really fun to see right now. Thanks so much for sticking around through it, learning about the cards with me. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts as well, what you're hoping to play or looking forward to. I'd love to hear that. And so on and so on. So thank you again, and thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!